tuned in to your dose of positivity. I am Marlene Motivates, and as I always say, just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life.
Be encouraged, be inspired, be yourself, you will survive. Just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life.
And to gain further support, join my channel membership. Come in. Let me remove this banner. Let me remove this. Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing? I am Marlene. I'm the content creator for Marlene Motivates. And on this channel, I talk about inspiration, positivity, mindset shifting, and all of those things. If you are new to this channel, subscribe. I love to have you here as a part of the Motivators family. So, yes, everybody, welcome to your Thursday edition of the Dose of Positivity. I thought I'd cover this topic because, this week we've kind of been focusing on dating and relationships, and I thought this would be a good way to end our week of discussions to talk about our own self and how we don't need to be perfect to start a relationship. So let me see who we have in the chat. We have first in. Hey Colton, how are you doing? Welcome. Good to see you. Yes, everybody, if you could please like and share this out. And we have Puzzle Pieces, Miss Nexie. How are you doing? Thank you for being here. Got a member in the house. Hey, Miss T, how are you doing? Good afternoon to you. Hope all is well with you and everyone in the chat, or those of you in the replay. Now, I wanted to cover this topic because I think that it's important for me to say this first. Coming from somebody who was previously like this, thinking that because I was always choosing the wrong person, that's why I was always getting these type of individuals. And I want you all to know that nobody is perfect, and you don't have to be perfect in a relationship to find yourself a good person. You don't have to be perfect, and we're going to get into some of the reasons why you don't have to be perfect. Because over here on Marlene Motivates, we work on ourselves. We are consistent. We are accountable to ourselves for the things that we do and didn't do. And that makes us different from another person that is out there. Most people just keep selecting the wrong people and blaming those people, but instead of looking at our own self and work on ourselves, be honest, be real. And if you can't do it on your own, I'm always going to advocate for therapy, for counseling, for life coaching, for mentorship, but put in the work. Don't make excuses. And if you keep finding that you are selecting the same type of individuals, which I was in that category, we have to ask ourselves how much of that is them and how much of it is me. One of the things that I have to say is that, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect to start a relationship, but you do have to do some things in order to be good to be in a relationship with. This is something that a lot of people just glide over that part. They just say, I want to be in a relationship. And everybody says that they're the perfect match. They're the best person in the relationship. Where, if you're 100% honest, we all do things in a relationship that is not good. I can even say that sometimes in relationships, we are even toxic, right? We're toxic and we don't even know it because for many reasons. Maybe it's our relatives that we were around, they were toxic, or it could be your parents. It could be previous relationships that you had that you never gave yourself the time to heal from them and work on yourself and on why you actually thought that they were a good person for you. See, we don't have to be perfect. Nobody is. But all you have to do is be real. That's all I'm asking for all from all of you motivators, for you to be real with yourself and not to, like sugarcoat the truth. We all know our flaws. We all know the things that we need to work on. But do you make excuses about it, or are you doing something about it? That's the difference between not only getting in a relationship, but staying in a relationship. And also, I'll add to that, not just staying in a relationship, but staying in a healthy relationship for you. See, it's not just about what we want. We also want to draw somebody to us that will want to stay with us, that will be content, that their joy will be there as well. Because it's not all about us, even though it is about us, but it's not all about us. So you don't have to be perfect to be in a relationship. You just need to be real and you just need to be honest. Okay. That's what I wanted to start off this discussion with that. Okay. Let me see what I missed in the comment section. Uh, let's see. Let's see if I missed anything. Nope, I didn't miss any comments. Okay. So let me get to my point number one, that I think is important for almost all of us. You don't have to be perfect in a relationship. So, what we're going to do, motivators, is we're going to be real. We're going to come to the table with full accountability. Okay. If you want to draw the right relationship, we first have to start off by not blaming who we were with. That don't take it wrong now. Not saying that they have not had their flaws, they have not done wrong to you, they have not hurt you, but we're not starting off this talking about anybody other than ourselves. We are grown women, we're grown men, and we have to take that ownership. What did I do in the relationship? Now, this would be a good time for you to take out a pen and paper, whether you are live or in the replay. Take out a piece of pen and paper and start writing down the pros and cons about you. And because this is about you, we're going to be 100% honest. We're not going to play little games to what we think we are, to what other people tell us, to what your relatives tell you. We're talking about ourselves and knowing what we are, okay? And because we know ourselves and we know what we're dealing with, we have to first start off by saying, I'm not going to blame who I was with. I'm not going to blame anybody. I'm going to start off with me, just me. Because if you aren't a good person, if you aren't good with yourself, knowing yourself, loving yourself, seeking a great friendship with yourself, you will not be good in any relationship. So we can't start off by blaming the ex that, yes, there are people that we select that may have not been the best for us. Maybe you chose the wrong person. Maybe that person was toxic. Maybe that person was dangerous. Maybe that person dragged you down, made you feel inferior. Maybe they were even abusive to you. But we're not going to blame them. Today, we're talking just about us and what we are going to do to be an addition, a plus. We're going to be the person that is going to be have high energy. Okay, we're going to have high energy. There's going to be nothing but positive vibrations. Okay, and to have that and to be that in a relationship, we can't walk into this saying, I have zero accountability. I did nothing. Everything was them. No, because that would never be real. That's we're going to discard that. We're going to go into this with the right mindset, and the right mindset is, what have I done, okay, in the relationship? And that will be on your pros. What I have done, good. But what have I not done? So there's certain things that maybe we did not do in the relationship, okay? Maybe we started taking them for granted. Maybe another thing that we do is we never said thank you, or you never said sorry. Saying please, thank you, sorry, I love you, I appreciate you. That could be some things. Not spending quality time with the person that you were with previously. Let's be real and honest. We don't always spend the quality time that we should because of many different factors. Or another thing is maybe you weren't mature enough. Maybe you did not come into your own yet. You didn't know who you were, what you wanted, what you deserved, because you were still working on yourself. You're still working on getting to know yourself. And why it's important that we start off this discussion talking about who we are. If we don't know who we are, we don't know what to search for. Okay. And until we know who we are, we've seen it many times. People jump from multiple relationships over and over again. This person, this person, this person. They can't stay with one person long enough. And you have to ask yourself, is that me? What am I doing to the reason why I can't keep a relationship? Okay. So we're going to start off with that. We're not going to blame the ex. Okay. Let me go to the comment section here. Uh, nope. No comments for me. You guys are chatting with each other. Okay. And that was my point number one. And my point number two is be yourself. To start a relationship, we have to start off the relationship by being ourselves, not what we think a person we're looking for wants. Going into it, being real. Are you real from the beginning? Okay. Are you real from the beginning? I think that that's important. Okay. Let me go to the comment section. Let's see. Hey, Colton, how are you doing? Yes, Miss T, it is facts. Okay, let's hear what Miss Puzzle Pieces has to say. Marlene, that bothers me very much when people blame the ex and don't take accountability for the part they played in the outcome of the relationship. Hmm. Hey, James Wilson, how are you doing? Welcome. Got a member and a mod in the house. Thank you for being here. Everybody, if you could hit the like, I'd really appreciate it. So let's go back to Puzzle Pieces comment. Um, yeah. But one of the reasons why people don't take accountability for the role that they played in their past relationship not working out is because one thing, they may not have been mature enough. Until you are mature enough to wrap around your head that number one, everything is not always about me, okay? Is also about making the person that you're with happy as well, seeing what they want, meeting their needs, respecting them. And we have to ask ourselves, did I do that? Was I that? Would I be a person? Would I even select myself if I was looking for somebody? Good questions to ask ourselves, but it takes somebody who is mature enough to take that on. And then another thing in adding to that, talking about, you don't have to be perfect to start a relationship. You also have to allow yourself to be vulnerable. Nobody really likes that, being vulnerable, because I get it. A lot of times people will play games with you and deceive you, but we're not talking about what other people are doing. Show up in the relationship and be yourself. I think that everything after that is going to go well, even if the person that you maybe start a relationship with or a person you may be dating may not work out. At least I was real from the beginning. I didn't put out any false expectations. I showed up from the beginning and say, this is who I am, this is what I want. Can you do that? Can you be that? If not, I'm out. Okay. And that's the way we have to show up at from the beginning of the relationship. And I know the reason why people do it is because they may like a person, they want to get with that person and all of those things. But showing up for the start of relationship and you show up being dishonest, that's not you. That's not what you're about. That's not what you have, and that's not what you want. And I'm saying it to ladies and gentlemen. If you're just in it just to meet somebody, you're just trying to hook up, tell that from the beginning. Be honest. But if you are looking for a lasting relationship, you want to settle down, start off the relationship saying that, and don't do things that is opposite from that. Okay? I think that's so important to do as well. I'm doing good today. How are you? I'm doing amazing, James. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm nurturing, and sometimes my relationship was me being someone's rock. Yeah, that happens a lot, Miss T. A lot of times I can say for me and some of the friends that I have, that was a big issue, that you were supporting more than you were being supported. So that's another thing that is definitely is high on my list at all times. When I find out that I'm being used, or you find out that you're being used, no matter what the excuses, no matter all the pleas that they'll change and they'll do better, don't listen to it. If somebody can't give you what you want, you should not sit down and wait around for them to turn into it, for them to become what it is that you need. Either somebody is there or somebody is not. And sometimes people really don't want to be 100% honest because they want to hold on to that person and they want to keep them. But basically, you're stifling and holding a person hostage to stay with you. And eventually, they're going to let go of you because you're not what they want. And you may not be what they want either. So, the best thing to do is to show up being real and honest in a relationship and making sure that not only you fill up others' cup, but they are filling up your cup as well. These are, just some tips. There's many tips out there to what we should do when we start a relationship. And I think that it's so important to start off a relationship being your authentic self. Okay. Um, okay. As far as emotionally, yeah, a lot of times, not just saying that it's women, but a lot of times it's women being very supportive emotionally, but then you get zero emotional support. And that's tough. It's hard. Um, but it's not an excuse to say it's okay for one person to give all emotional support and the other to give no emotional support. It just won't work. You have to have your red flags in the relationship, and not that you're going to get everything that you want, because there's no perfect relationship. Nobody's perfect. They're not perfect. You're not perfect. But what is the most important is that you both have things about each other that each other likes, and you know how to be there and support each other. Hi, Miss Tracy. How are you doing today? Welcome in. It's so good to see you. Thank you so much. Yes, tell me the truth, even if you think it's going to hurt me. And the reality of that, Miss T, the truth of it. I remember when I had a relationship one time, and I used to be so angry because they told me the truth, to find out later that that was a real rarity. It's really rare to have somebody who will tell you the truth, and not just sugarcoat it. That's a rare person to find. So if you have somebody who's willing to tell you the truth at all times, not saying tell you the truth like raw or be nasty and mean to you. No, I just mean somebody who'll say, I want to tell you this because I can see how this will help you to grow. When you have somebody like that, you have a gem, you have a treasure. You're not going to just find somebody like that on the street, somebody who's going to be real with you, tell you what you need to hear to cause you to have personal growth. We may not always like it, but it's what we need to hear. Hey, Miss Gwen, how are you doing? Welcome in. Really appreciate you being here. Happy Thursday to you. I hope you're doing well. Let's see. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Let's see what we got here. Yes, hit the like, everybody. Yes, always be yourself. We see all the time here on social media. We see people are whole characters here on social media. People are characters when they show up for a date. People are characters when they make all those dating apps. Just not honest from the beginning. And if you find that somebody can't be honest with you from the beginning, it means that that person has not matured yet. And I can say that for me too. There were times years ago where I definitely was not mature enough to be in anybody's relationship. And it's nothing wrong with that either. To find yourself good to be with another person, sometimes we need to take those breaks and get to know ourselves. Who am I? What do I want? Am I a good friend? Am I loving me? Am I taking care of me? And until we start getting to know ourselves and work on our skeletons in the closet, we are nobody. We are nobody that needs to be with anybody in any relationship, because all we're going to do is mess up somebody else. I know that for certainty, that there were times that I was in a relationship that I didn't need to be with anybody. I needed to be with myself, because all I was doing is making that other person miserable, because I felt miserable. And we're real over here, right? We're honest, right? Motivators, we're honest with ourselves. There are just sometimes where you're right, you're running from your own shadow. You don't want to admit things about you, things about the past, and even unresolved issues from your childhood, right? Unresolved issues will find its way to creep into a relationship So if you weren't happy from the past, or you had, all these skeletons, this evil, this trauma, and you just keep pushing it to the side and ignoring it, being silent about what has caused you pain, or the pain that you are in currently, by putting a bandage over it, or just saying, I don't want to talk about it, is not going to make it better. And you going and looking for somebody to fill in that void is not going to make it any better. Ask me how I know, because I've been there, I've done it, and it does not work. Finding yourself somebody just to be with somebody before you've gone and worked on yourself, and fixed and healed the pain that you have suffered, until you are okay with yourself, until you're not mad about your past or who ever done what to you, you'll never be any good to be in a relationship with. Never. You'll never be good. I'm sorry to say it like that, but it's the truth. You got to face yourself. You got to look at yourself in the mirror and say, yeah, I'm good now. Yeah, I'm happy. Yeah, I'm joyful. Yeah, I'm focused. Yeah, I got my head on, it's screwed on tight. Yep, we're good. So I can start looking for me somebody. And you have to know when you're ready for that. For some, it may take many years. Some, maybe they never are ready to be in a relationship, because they, let's just say, they don't want to admit it to themselves. Some people have major, like, ego issues, major problems, like, oh, I don't have a problem. They're major problem with self-denial. Okay. And it's not good. It's not good to lie to yourself and to other people. Everybody needs to work on themselves and be their own friend at a certain period or time. Yes, happy Thursday to you, Miss Gwen. Thank you so much. Realist is in here. Oh, hey, Realist. How are you doing? Got a mod in the house. Happy Thursday. Good to see you. Welcome in. I hope you are well. Miss T, that is the best thing you probably have done for yourself, to self reflect and self improve. And that's one of the best things and the best ways that we can draw the right person. Oh, okay, I'll tell you what I mean by that. Before I started working on myself, and I was in that spot where I was angry, guess what? I was choosing people who were angry too, because you draw people who are like minded, you know? I believe that's called trauma bonding. You connect with people who are in your same space, and that's not always a good thing. Until you are happy and healed, and you're focused on moving forward in the right direction, you can't draw somebody along with you, to go together towards a specific goal, whether it be, bringing children in this world, or spending your life time together towards a focused goal. You can't go together in a focused goal when you're going your direction and then they are going theirs. You have to have two people where I'm good on my own, and you find somebody and they're good on their own, and then you can come together and say, now we can be good together. Now, how are we going to move forward? But most of the time, people jump into a relationship, and they don't put any energy into thinking, like, where are you in your life? Have you worked on yourself? Have you got any therapy? Do you forgive yourself for the past? Have you forgiven other people? These are the sort of conversations that we need to have with somebody before we actually get into the relationship. Because until you start finding out things about people, and then you're like, who in the world am I with? Like, they're a crazy person. Like, be honest. I know for sure people in the past that I have been in a relationship with have said the same thing about me, because I didn't know myself. I didn't feel that I was deserving of loving myself. I didn't feel like I was good enough. But it all changes when you get to know yourself. Facts. You got to heal and be set free. You have to. You have to. It's just what it is. Until you are free, all you're going to do is make another person be in hostage, be tied down, chained down to your pain. They're always going to have to try to make you feel better about yourself, and that's not anybody else's job or responsibility to make you feel good about yourself. I hear some people like they have to tell the person 50 million times 50 million times, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, all day long, I love you, I love you, because they don't have that love within themselves yet. Hmm. And it's sad. I can only say that because I've experienced it, because I was that woman. I was looking for love within my relationship, and I was never going to be happy and satisfied with that person until I learned how to love me. And the same thing for you. You will never be happy in a relationship until you learn to love yourself. Then you go to the other levels and you learn how to connect with your higher power. Then you learn how to be a better friend, sister, a wife or husband, whatever it is, whatever level that is. You become better when you are better. And that's 100% real talk. Okay. If you don't want to heal from your hurt from the past, you are going to attract it in your future brokenness. Whenever your hurt uh, showed your childhood, uh, showed your childhood, your adulthood, you have to heal it first. Are you? Yes. Definitely, you have to work on healing your past before you can be present. And it's a lot of people that they'll have an amazing person, a wonderful life, beautiful home, cars, all the material things, right? To the eye, it looks like the perfect situation, but a person can have all of these things and never be satisfied because they're not happy with themselves. So that's that's a real thing. Thank you so much for your comment, Vernell, and welcome in. Hey, Miss Gwen, thank you so much for the super sticker. I really do appreciate it. You know what I got to do? You know what we do over here when the super chat hits. Thank you so much, Miss Gwen. Thank you so much, Miss Gwen. I really appreciate that super chat. You will attract the same stuff from your hurt. Yes, you definitely will attract the same. This is same, and it's just going to be a cycle of repeating. It's just going to be a new year, but the same type of person, like Miss Vernell says, the same brokenness. Until you are whole, until you are whole and together, until you know what you want, until you know who you are, and you know how to be a friend to yourself. You can't go out and find good friends. You can't be a good mother, father, uncle, sister, cousin, a good workmate. It starts in all relationships. If you got to know yourself first. Yes. All of it is important. And I think that I have come to the end of, oh yeah, and this is the last one. Miss Puzzle Pieces, now is your time for you can hit this link and share your thoughts. Okay. So I put the link in there for you, Puzzle Pieces. Oh, I got another super sticker. Thank you so much, Puzzle Pieces. I really appreciate it. You know what I have to do now? When the super chat hits, this is for you, Puzzle Pieces. Oh, yeah, and Realist One, since he loves the panda so much. So shout out to you, Realist One, and shout out to Miss Nexie. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Puzzle Pieces. I really appreciate it. can't fight if you don't heal yourself. The only way it affects, you have to heal yourself. You attract better for yourself, right? You definitely attract better for yourself when you are better. And you can't be any good. You can't be any good until you are good. That's one of the things that I learned for myself. I couldn't be good until I would that's okay for now. I knew what you were saying. You're never going to be any good for anybody until you are good. You are welcome. Awesome content. Thank you so much, Miss Gwen. I really appreciate it. And now we have Miss Nexie. She is backstage. So everybody, let's welcome Nexie to the show.
Hello. Hi, everybody. Hi, Marlene. I was gonna
Hi.
wait for you to make your last point, so I'm
That
gonna
that
gonna
was
be over
it.
here quietly if you want to make it.
No, that was it. That was
Oh,
it.
okay.
That's what I wanted to say. When we talk about, working on yourself first, I feel like that's important. A lot of times that we'll rush just to say we're in a relationship because we want somebody or we see other people around us. They have somebody, so we feel we have to be with somebody too, but we have to
Or
work
when
on ourselves.
exactly, or when family continuously asks you, are you dating someone? Are you with someone? Do you have someone you love? When are you gonna bring someone home? When family pressures you to, sometimes even though you're working on yourself, sometimes you pick anybody just to satisfy family. And that on itself is a little bit of a mistake, right? Because you just want to give them what they want to please them. And so they don't worry about you, but then you end up picking again the wrong person. And I'm very happy you brought this up. These topics are so important because a lot of times we rush into things because we're lonely, right?
Mm,
Or we rush into it because we're coming to that age where we want to settle or whatever,
mm,
which that shouldn't be the case. I feel that taking our time to be ourselves and be the best that we can be uh, can probably guarantee more a successful relationship with somebody else. um,
mm,
but sometimes we rush, like I said, because of those feelings we have inside, working on ourselves, and getting ourselves healed and renewed and everything will probably bring us a better relationship
mhm.
and a better outcome of a long-term loving healthy relationship.
Yeah. And I should have probably put in the title that you don't need to be perfect to start a healthy relationship because you can get into a lot of relationships, but they can be toxic.
But
So that's
yeah, but this
important
is the
too.
thing, Marlene. But I'm sorry, I cut in. I'm sorry.
That's
I
okay.
should have not done that. But that's the thing, though. The title doesn't say it, but we can always, bring it up here. It's our ideals or our ideas. Is so the title is perfect. Don't you go changing anything about it. But yeah, I mean, being the this whole human being of perfection that I am, I had to learn the hard way when my husband and I sat down at one point when our relationship wasn't going the greatest, and um, and I was told when where I was lacking, or when where the things that I was wrong about, and how many times I have set them aside for other people or other things, or when I started hearing that, it bothered me, it
Mm,
hurt me. And because in my mind I was the perfect wife, the perfect mate, the perfect friend, the perfect everything for my significant other. But hearing those things thrown your way, it's something that you don't, you always say, I want you to tell me the truth, but when it comes to you, you're not prepared for it. It throws you for a
Next,
loop.
next thing, it's you're always blindsided. You're like, what? Like, why are you attacking me?
Yes, I mean, this sunshine of perfection. How dare you say that there's something wrong with me? So even though we ask people for to tell us what is wrong with us or what they think is wrong with the relationship
Mhm.
that they have with us, we're never prepared to hear the outcome of it. And that's when a lot of relationships, Marlene, either make it or break it. It's how you receive that information that can make the difference. Some of us receive it and say, you know what? Okay, you're right. I'm going to work on it. It hurts me, right? Because you just hurt me a lot. But it doesn't hurt you because this person has been disrespectful or anything. It hurts you because of your ego, your
Mhm.
pride, your
Yep.
how dare you. My daddy said I
Mhm.
was perfect. How dare you say I'm not that perfection?
Yeah.
In my daddy's
No,
eyes, I'm perfect. So
yeah. And that was the same thing with me when I went to therapy. It was like the first time in my life somebody had ever checked me. And I was like, what you talking about? I was like, I've never heard anything like that before. Everybody says I'm great and I'm amazing. It's like, and he's like, everybody says that, or that's what you want to hear. And I was, and that's when I started to think, like, honestly, we hear what we want to hear. Like
exactly.
I would tune out all of the negative things or the things you need to work on. I would tune those out. But oh
Mm.
yeah, I'm this and you're that. I was like, yeah, I'm this and this. Okay, but what is a flaw? What is something you need to work on? I was like, nothing.
Exactly. Those, it is hard to, like I said, it is hard to come to that conclusion that you're not as perfect as your parents think you are,
Mhm,
or they have
mhm,
always said. But now, you said something about, the attraction of the likeness of someone, that when you're negative, that's exactly who you're going to
mhm,
attract. And the fact is that that's exactly what it is, Marlene. When sometimes you're so lonely or you're so alone, that you meet with somebody that is feeling the same way than you are, and attached to that, even though that person is not right for you, it's not the right person for you, it's not good for you, but you're both feeling that void on each other.
yeah,
So that's I think the only thing that keeps you together. Once you start improving yourself and you start working on yourself, that glue comes undone,
yeah,
because there is nothing else to that relationship. And I'm only saying this because that is exactly what happened to me. You
mhm,
know what I mean? It's once I started working on myself, I started going through therapy and everything. That glue I thought was there because of the bond we had or whatever. It came undone because that wasn't what it wasn't needed anymore, because I was
yeah,
working on myself now. I was able to be with a friendship with myself, feel unlonely, feel unalone, as they say.
yeah.
And so there was nothing there in that relationship that glued us together.
Right. Yeah, and next to actually what you're saying is everything that has to do with trauma bonding because I went through that. I only was selecting a certain individual because it was like I was seeking a place to feel safe, but once and of course here comes the knight in shining armor to come and rescue me, right? But once I started to work on myself and find out the reason why I felt that way, it was like, okay, I don't need you to rescue me anymore because I know how to work on myself. I've dealt with the issue. And then it gets to be like, okay, so what else is there to you? And if there
Mhm.
is nothing to that person but that, if that's why I always say in a relationship, while let's not lie, attraction is important,
Mhm.
you know, other factors are important to be in a relationship, but it can't just be the looks or the material things like money because, you know, the money can go just like that. All you have to do is run through one difficulty and
Mhm.
that's
And it's
gone.
gone.
Yeah, or a person ages, you have a health problem, so if okay, what else? If there's not other levels, like, okay, what is their character? What is their personality? How do they treat people? What do they like to do? You have to have some, to be like, wow, they're so this or they're so that,
Mm-hmm.
something to be beyond just the initial attraction. You have to have some other layers there. And I didn't learn that until I got mature. Like, I said, I think I'm going to need some layers now.
And Marlene, you're right about that, because I have extended family, and you're right about the attraction of just the physical attraction. I
Mhm.
have extended aunties, uncles. I have a lot of extended family, and many of times I have heard, "Oh yeah, she was a beauty, but now that she gained weight, or now that she's gotten older, she's not as pretty as she used to be." And you don't understand what this means until you start working on yourself. Once I started doing that, I understood that, oh, so you got with her because she was pretty, not because there was something in common between the two of you. Hi, Sirius.
Hi,
and you
Sirius.
see and you see that there was no substance to their marriage, that this is all older couples, of course. So back then divorce was fraud upon, so you couldn't get divorced,
Mhm.
so they stuck together. But you see that the males are so uncomfortable with their wives gaining weight or getting older or whatever it is the case. So you start putting two and two together and say, oh, okay, so you got with her because she was pretty, not because she was smart or witty or funny or anything. It was just that she attracted you, and that's as far as the extent of your relationship went. After
Yeah,
that faded, there's no more love between you guys, because there was never really love. It
right.
was just a mirage of.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, they're good to look at, or they're good for you know what. I don't have to say that. Everybody knows, can read in between the lines.
Mm-hmm.
But it has to be more than that. Okay, what about when you get to be a certain age, or you have go through a health issue or something? Now what?
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay,
Exactly.
if it's only just about sexual attraction, or it's just about how a person looks, okay, what about when that goes away? Now what about, are they loyal, are they respectful, are they going to support you?
Mm-hmm. And
those,
when
those things.
once you're in there, Marlene, and it's we're married and you're going through your marriage and you hear these things, you start looking at your partner a different way. You start
Mhm.
thinking, okay, what is it then between us, like? And I know we don't have to, and that's the a lot of people want this perfect partner, this perfect significant other. There's no such a thing. We're all imperfect, you know.
Mhm.
The only perfect one is God, and
Mhm.
there's no such a thing here in this world. So going into a relationship like that, expecting perfection in every way, that there will never be problems or whatever. So now hearing these things as a young bride, which is where I wanted to go, I was like, oh, so am I going to be this lady in 10, 15 years? Because that's his uncle, right? Is he going
Yeah.
to be talking about me like this in 10 years, 5 years, or 15 years? You start analyzing everything, and that creates a lot
Mhm.
of doubt in the relationship as well.
Yes, it brings a lot of doubt into the relationship. And one of the things that I have to say as well, ladies and gentlemen, stop involving your family in your relationship business and issues. That can ruin a relationship. Going in and asking your mom, this person, that person about, oh, and they do this and they do that. When we do that, we show our mate or significant other in a bad light. And
Mm-hmm.
once you do that, that they can't look at them any different after that time.
Exactly. That's what I've always said, Marlene. I don't share what goes on. We never did that, and I raised my kids the same way. I have no idea what it goes between them in private. I love my son-in-laws and I love my daughter-in-law, because whatever goes in between them, they don't come and tell me. And if they ever did, I will stop them and say, nope. That's
Mm.
between you two. You guys have to solve it,
Yeah, you have to
because
solve it.
it creates resentment, because that's your child, right? So now you're
Mhm.
going to be looking at your son-in-law or daughter-in-law in a different way. You're going to be like,
Yep.
oh, you meanie little thing. You
Yeah.
treat my baby bad.
No, and guess what, Nexie? And then you resolve the issue between the two of you, and now everybody still has that in their mind.
Yeah,
You know?
and then you're
Yeah.
the enemy.
Yeah, and they're
So
the enemy in your life.
so thinking that of a perfect relationship in any way, there's no such a thing. I
No,
think that if you're going to go into a relationship, just remember that you're going into it with another imperfect person like you,
right.
that you're going to
And
try to work together, whatever it is that you have or
yeah,
going to have. But it
yeah,
is super, I've seen the things that people do to themselves to continue to be that person for that man,
mm,
because I've seen that happen, and I don't want to step on anybody's toes, but I've seen the length of women, the length they go through just to be that perfect person in the eyes of this man. And I'm thinking, shouldn't you just be perfect as you are? Like, shouldn't he love you just as you
yeah,
are?
just as you
Age is
are.
part of life. So why go
Mhm.
through all of this just to make sure that he still likes you? He should like you for who you are, not for how you
Yeah,
look.
no, and not for what you wear. That's a
Hmm.
Yeah. So I have to highlight this comment from Vernell. She says, people know how to be manipulators. When you are a people pleaser, a yes person, that's why no save save your life. I think she's saying that's why it can't save your life. I'm just assuming. But a lot of people, they, you know, like I said, they start off the relationship. That's not who they are. The mask falls off. You find out, oh my goodness, who is this person? And then it may be too late because now your feelings are involved, and probably they isolated you or pushed you away from your own relatives. So now, even if you wanted to go back to your relatives because of what you've done to get this person, they don't want nothing to do with you, and now you're stuck with a person that you don't even want. So it's not a good thing. So if you just showed up in a relationship as yourself, or they showed up in the relationship as themselves, it would be much better. But a lot of times that people, number one, nobody wants to talk about all of the whatever. Nobody wants to talk about the past. I did this. I've been with this person. I've done this. You don't want to put everything out there, but gradually, you start to let them, reveal certain things about yourself and see, is this something that you can deal with? Okay, cool. You can deal with that. Okay, I've done this. Okay, I can deal with that. So if you can find somebody that can deal with all of your mess, your idiosyncrasies, they can deal
Hmm.
with it all, then you probably found the right person, because most people who are just vain and it's just about looks, when they find out that, oh, you're not perfect, you're not this, they're ready to head out the door because they're not looking for a lasting relationship. They're just in it to hit it and quit it. Let's just be real.
And that's the thing, Marlene. A lot of times, I've always been myself. That's the one thing I don't change. I've always said this. I dance to the beat of my own drum. um I am myself, and a lot of times, people don't like it in the beginning, right? Because this is who I am. I'm not going to change for anybody. That's the whole point. This is who I am, and take it or leave it. So when you come into a relationship with someone that is a manipulator and you're not strong enough, they're going to try to change that. But if you come in with on a somebody's a manipulator, you come in with, this is who I am, there's going to be a lot of friction. Because they are going to try to manipulate you as much as they can, and you're going to try to push back as much as you can. you know
Right.
um Sometimes it works out. You the person learns who you are and accepts who you are and sees that you're not phony, that you're not putting a face of kindness or niceness just to get them.
Mhm.
They learn that that's who you are,
Right.
and that
Right.
can work for you. But sometimes, I've noticed that if you're not secure of who you are, and a manipulator comes into your relationship, they change you.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't even recognize your friends. You're like, what happened to you? Because they're so different from what you thought you knew, or
Hmm.
she was, or he was.
Yeah. It's called very being very gullible.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, unfortunately, when you don't experience certain things, you don't know how valuable. Like, one of the best things my mentor gave me was the gift of that insight. And there's nothing like knowing the power of yourself, knowing who you are, what
Mm-hmm.
you deserve, and your imprint on other people. And if you knew how powerful you are and wonderful you are, you wouldn't allow yourself to just scrape the bottom of the barrel and just choose anyone. And I'm gonna highlight this comment from Miss T. Yes, beauty fades. If you don't have a genuine loving relationship, when things start to get gray or get bigger, problems are going to come. And that's so true. And this part of Vernell's comment I want to highlight. You know, I've seen it many times. People will get into a great relationship, but the either the mother or the father always involves themselves in their son's or their daughter's business. My mom said you should do this, and my dad says you should. Oh, and my dad says that's not how you do it. When you do that, you devalue your spouse, your significant other, the person that you're in a relationship with. It's like you're not a child. And I don't bring scripture into things for so much, but it's part of my belief system. You guys can take it or leave it, but it does say that when you get married, you leave your mother and your father. You stick
Mm-hmm.
to the person that you're with. So you that means you have to learn to work things out, between the two of you, and not involve your parents, siblings, friends into your personal business, and it just makes more problems. It's just my thought. You could take it or leave it, but it's what I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Exactly, Marlene. And that's the thing is, when when my children started dating, they're married now, so they're out of the house and everything. But when they started dating, I didn't get involved in their business, and if I had not mm, met, their whoever they were dating, and I didn't get involved because I wanted to get a feeling of the person they were dating before having any input from my kids. Just bring him or just bring her. Let me see. Let me meet her. Or whenever they were ready, they will bring him, and I will get a feeling of that person without any input, because that's the best thing, to be
Yeah.
neutral, so you can gauge this person. Is this person good for my child or not?
Hmm.
And even if you feel that they're not, the only thing you can do is make sure that you're around. If your child comes for advice, you can just tell how you feel, what you think, not what they should do. That's
Hmm.
the whole point. There's no such a thing as a perfect relationship. Even if you want it to be perfect for your kids, there's no such a thing as that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because,
And you always think, oh, my kids are perfect, right?
of
And they
course.
always do right. But you have to also think that too. Sometimes it, like, if it's your sibling, if it's your kid, if it's your friend, we always tend to want to believe that person. But guess what? That person could be in the wrong too.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what they have
Exactly.
done as well. So sometimes they'll come and tell you something that's happening in the relationship, but you don't know they haven't been doing this, and this, or they've done this wrong. So being real and honest, the best thing to do is to say, I care about you, I support you, but when it comes to things in your relationship, I think you two need to work that out together. That's what I try my best to do with my friends and with my siblings. I was
Mm,
like, I love you, but I can't get involved in that. Go work
exactly.
it out.
With my kids, if they come with something, I said, okay, I understand what you're saying, but I know how you are. So, you may want to rethink this one. I know how you can act sometimes. I know how you can be. I know how you overreactive you are at times. So I know you. So you may want to rethink this. That's what a parent should do. Not go on and call your son-in-law and say, "Why are you treating my baby?" You
Yeah.
have to make sure that you're giving it back to them so that they can solve their problem. You can listen to them, if
Mhm.
it gets that far, but make sure that they are the ones resolving. And that goes for siblings or nieces, nephews, whoever comes to you. You have to
Mhm.
put yourself out of the situation and also think about how your child or your family member is. Not just blame the other person automatically because they're hurting your child or your family member. And that's the one thing I had to, I didn't know that well until I started working on me. I knew that my dad didn't get involved in our situations, right? I mean, our marriages with our husbands and my brother's wives. He didn't. If we ever asked him for an advice, he will always ask what we thought of the situation. And then he will say, okay, then go with this other one that you're thinking of. That sounds like it's the right thing to do. He never got involved.
Yeah.
Everybody got along well with my dad. So I think that I didn't notice that, or I didn't pick it up until I started working on myself. And that's the thing, that you have to make sure that even though you think your family members, your kids are perfect, they're not.
Mhm.
They're
They
not.
do wrong. They do wrong too. You know, we do
Yes, they
wrong
do.
too. So, great discussion and topic. Next, and I just wanted to say to everybody who is looking for a relationship, don't think, oh, I have to have everything that I want, because then you'll never find anybody. But also don't, you know, go so low that you're just settling for anything. So you kind of have to be balanced. Like, as long as you can get some of the things that you want, you can cohabitate together, and for it not to be like toxic and things like that, then yes, then go ahead and do that. But don't just settle just because somebody says, I care about you and I love you. That doesn't mean that means it's a person that you have to have a life with.
Exactly. And don't expect perfection, unless you know that you are perfect. Don't expect anybody else to be the perfect person for you, because there's no such a thing. It's the perfect person for you. That on itself is a setup.
Yeah, a
I'm
recipe for
sorry.
disaster.
I had to say it, Marlene. I had
I
to.
know, I know, I
I'm
know.
so
It
sorry.
needed to be said. And one of the things that I have to say is, I say this because I want to encourage everybody, especially during this time of the year. People
Hmm.
are maybe feeling some type of way. You may be feeling lonely. It's colder now. It's this and that. And you may want to just go and find somebody just to say that you're with somebody. Don't do that. Don't
Hmm.
do that. Take your time. Take your time and see how this person actually is before you start getting into how you feel, because a lot of times we get how we feel involved before how does this person treat me, and is this person, can I see a future with this person? No. Oh, I love them, I love them. You love what? You love what out of them? Yeah. So
Yeah,
you,
that's the question. That's the $1,000,000 question. What is it that you love so much about him? It's so perfect. How perfect is he? Just tell me exactly. No, and it's true, Marlene. I'm glad that you said that, because I was happy to see this title, because a lot of times around the holidays we feel so alone. We feel nostalgia because of, maybe we don't have our siblings with us, or we don't have our parents with us, or whatever it is that we don't have. Just time that relationship out from the holidays. Don't get so attached yet. Get to know that person if you have someone that you like, but don't get involved during the holidays. Just wait. I mean,
yeah.
I'm not saying that if you're already in a relationship and you get proposed to now, don't accept it. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if it's a new relationship, just give the holidays time, and then your relationship as well. Don't rush into things because you're feeling alone, this Christmas season. it's
Mhm.
it's very important for you to take that into consideration. The holidays can make us do some crazy things.
Yeah, and we don't want to live with regret and say, "Ugh, why did
Exactly.
I do that?" Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
So,
Thank you for
thank you
having
so.
me, Marlene.
Thank you. I appreciate you being here. Always wonderful to have you on the show, Miss Nexie.
Thank you, and thank you everybody for coming over, and happy holidays if we don't get to see you guys until next week. Merry
Yep.
Christmas, everybody.
Yes, thank you so much, Nexie. And my sentiments exactly. Thank you so much to everybody who is here. I appreciate all of you. Stay safe. Think about yourself, your well-being, but also think about how being in a relationship will also affect your siblings, your parents, your friends, and yourself. Um, date smart, not thirsty, like my moderator Donna, just being real, always says. I appreciate you guys, and enjoy your next week. And I'll see you guys back on live. I believe it's Wednesday. I'll be back here. Hopefully next week we'll be back here too. But there's going to be videos and premieres uploaded until that time. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys. Enjoy your next few days.
Don't eat too much. Happy holidays, everybody.
Yes. Bye, everybody. You know what I would say over here on Marlene Motivates, just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life.
Be encouraged, be inspired, be yourself, you will survive. Just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life.
I forgive me, I love me. I've been blessed that I have made it through. I'm stronger and worthy. I am enough now. What about you? I forgive me, I love me. I've been blessed that I have made it through. I'm stronger and worthy. I am enough now. What about you? Ooh, hey, yeah. Whoa, yeah.